Vaporwave is a microgenre of electronic music and internet aesthetic that emerged in the early 2010s. The name is a mix between vaporware, a business term describing a product announced and meant to go for sale but never actually released and lost among the sands of time, and a continuous repetition of ideas like a dream that was meant to be but it didn't happen. Nostalgia for what could have been if things evolved in a different way. Originating from experimental genres like hypnagogic pop, its sound is defined by the use of chopped, slowed down, and reverb-heavy samples from 1980s and 1990s smooth jazz, R&B, and lounge music. This melody creates a surreal, melancholic, and nostalgic atmosphere, evoking the uncanny feeling of wandering through a deserted shopping mall. The typical vaporwave music combines images and videos, parts of anime from the 80s and 90s, tweaked and mixed in a new way, an empty mall, what the future could have been. The aesthetic's visual style is a distinct collage that blends certain elements of the 80s and 90s like anime and cartoons like Sailor Moon, The Simpsons, many others, classical Greek-Roman statues and columns, primitive low-poly 3D rendering style, symbols of exotic vacations like palm trees and dolphins, VHS tapes, CRT screens, music cassettes, the technology that was very popular in the 80s and 90s before the online life of nowadays. The main color palette are pink and sun pastel colors with tiled floors, Memphis light design style pattern, Japan's 1980s economic boom, retro commercials, retro computers with the Windows 95 operating system being a particularly common motif, 1990s early web design, early CGI, the interior design of malls and lobbies, and logos of obsolete brands like Adidas, Pepsi, Windows 95-98, PlayStation 1, Arizona iced tea, and Fiji water. Most people agree on the idea that among the first music producers that we can call vaporwave artists are Chuck Parsons, Echo James, James Ferraro, Utopian Virtual, Vectroid, also called Macintosh Plus 420 with the album Flora Shop, and Sand Pepsi with the album Private Caller. Vaporwave was especially popular between 2010 and 2018. Most of the most popular albums are, for example, the trilogy of Infinity Frequencies, Computer Death, Computer Decay, Computer Afterlife, that are loops of elevator music. Another good singer is Young Bae with 80s J-pop remix from Junko Yagami, while there are other singers that blended vaporwave and trap music like Vaporwave, Manapool, and Black Banshee. Another good singer that I like is 2814, Belter of a New Year, also Telepath, Laser Elite, and Corp. He made a lot of albums like News After 11. Also, Windows 96, A Thousand Mornings is a pretty popular song. Macaro's 8299 instead focuses on future funk. It is a pretty popular vaporwave subgenre that tweaks original vaporwave together with 80s 90s J-pop. Other popular singers are City Zaviv, Cosmic Cycler, Daniel Lopatin, That Dynamic Sword, Desired, Devon Hendricks, Esprit, Lens Corp International, Millennial Dream Corp, More Shop, and Mesh are 23 ads serving scalar spans, subliminal network, towers, virtual information desk, laserdisc visions, New Dreams Ltd, Bloodwave. Vaporwave is also related to escapism, losing yourself while surfing the internet. With a nice, soothing music, it's a blissful and surreal feeling. Guess why Vaporwave is related to 1980s Japan? Since after World War II, they didn't have a big focus on the army, so they chose another direction, investing in industrialization and technology, reaching the peak in the 80s, the best time before the lost decade in the 90s. Imagine you are half asleep driving on a Tokyo highway with many colorful hazy neon signs near you, wonderful J-pop music in the stereo cassette tape. The Japanese economic miracle. It's capitalism and you are rich. Yes, because the Tokyo metropolitan area in the 80s was more valuable than the entire state of California. While listening to Vaporwave with surreal images of the remixed 80s and 90s, you are transported to these different dimensions, where things were different. You also feel nostalgia for a past that you never lived yourself, and idealized of futuristic fictional idealized Japan. A nostalgia for something that could have been existed because we took a different path that in comparison of what was promised to us in those years. Yes, you won't like in a 1980s Miami with a hotel near the beach. You won't own a mansion with Roman Greek sculptures and a big swimming pool. You won't be driving a Gallardo or Testarossa. You won't going to home surfing the web on a 90s dial-up connection. But you can always have a good dreams. The feeling of falling asleep in the back of a car, in a melancholic or romantic loneliness. You look at the street lights, the city skyline, on an endless road with palm trees on the side like out one, 3D grid pattern on the floor, returning to your dreams, what you still didn't achieve but keep dreaming about. Vaporwave is both criticizing and glorifying the 80s top of consumerism and Japanese economic miracle.